And we're back, PFL Brussels. I'm joined by my main man, Joey DFS, and that's where they say the champions fly. Joey, how you doing? How you feeling? You weren't on the Tuesday show, so it is kind of like a fresh breath of air here to have you on this episode here and hear about your thoughts for this card.
Yeah, I didn't even realize there was a card until Billy called me and said, "Yo, are you getting on Tuesday?" I'm like, "Tuesday what, bro? There's no card. We're off this week." He's like, "No, there's PFL." I'm like, "Oh, bro, I'm not even home. I had to look at that during later the week." Then he's like, "Yo, come on to the show." I'm like, "I got you." It's action packed type of card. Do I agree with a lot of these lines? Not really, but I think we're gonna definitely find the overall good value on this card that gets to the betting sheets for the betting window for tomorrow. It's an early card, so I prefer early cards.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those type of cards where this is for the real MMA fans that need that little quick little fixing for the parlays this week. Let's get right into it though, not waste any time here for the people, and talk about the weigh-in recap here. I think the first thing that stands out is the Ibrahimov fight and the Banat fight got canceled. I had a bet on Ibrahimov. They allowed me to cash out of the bet before they voided it. And then the next thing I had in my notes was Abayev looked jacked. We'll talk a little bit deeper about that fight. And Ajuzo did not look good at the weigh-ins. Like, even when they did the picture thing where they say smile, he was not smiling. And then the last one I have is Joe Schilling just looked old as fuck, man. How about you? Was there anything that stood out to you at the weigh-ins?
Yeah, the big one's easy. Chilling doesn't. He looks worse than 40.
Yeah, he
And
looked really old.
as soon as you told me the sheet, I was like, let me go watch these weigh-ins. I didn't watch the weigh-ins. There were some good face-offs. The Abayev and Pollock, they couldn't even get close to each other about wanting to punch and kick each other. A good face-off with who's it? McNessie and Lopes. I think that's going to be a brawl. And like I said, I hope we get some props lines because there's going to be some unders. I'm going to definitely looking to attack on this card. And because if we just try and do pure money line, this is going to be a crazy night. Aaron the dog in the building. What's up, Aaron?
Shouts to Aaron the dog in the building. So let's get into the first topic of the night here, which is a straight bet here. And for me, we'll start it off with a risky bet. I will claim that this is risky, but given the type of card that we have with a bunch of big ass favorites, I like this Rostam Sabiev line. Sabiev has a lot of fights flagged for legitimacy, so I don't think the market is really sold. But I think this is a solid matchup for him. This is a fight that he should be on his front foot. Reese coming off first round knockout, lost to Nikolai Vekratinov. We see Nikolai Vekratinov fight in the UFC, not really that heavy of a hitter, more of a volume puncher. I don't think Reese has the power to knock out Sabiev like he's been knocked out in his other losses. And the PFL kind of knows that as well, opening up the prelim with a hometown fighter, over 500K Instagram followers on social media and stuff like that. I like Serbiev here in the money line. How do you feel about this Serbiev and Ashley Reese fight to start off the night?
Yeah, Reese is coming off, I think, a 2-year layoff, so we're going to really see how he really looks. His last loss by KO was in round 1. He's no spring chicken. He's 37 years old. You usually got to stay away from the older guys in these type of matchups. And I do like the favorite in this first matchup. I think he's going to mix up well, and all of his wins are inside the distance. So, like I said, if we get good props on these fights, I'll definitely be looking for some type of finish prop in this fight. But I do like the favorite. It's an affordable line, minus 150 on my book, and you can play him straight. And if you're confident on another one, you can get a better 2-leg parlay. So we'll definitely get to the parlays when that comes. But yeah, I like the favorite. I know the fight I'm looking at is I'm tempting the dog. Is Khamzat Abayev. He's a big son of a bitch. If he can keep it on the feet, I think he can definitely win the striking exchanges versus Pollock here. And yeah, I might look at the dog. I might have to even bet on it sometime during this live because I'm afraid I think that line might continue to go down. And I got plus 135 right now. I might have to lock that in.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the things I saw at the weigh-ins as well. So I think we're good to go into the second topic of the night here, which is the underdog of the night. And I believe there's a couple of underdogs that you can pick on this card. My favorite one is Gustavo Oliveira. I actually saw that you're on Gustavo Oliveira as well, and you weren't on the Tuesday one, so I'll let you take this one away here. Why do you like Gustavo Oliveira here, Joe?
He legit gives me Carlos Prates at 135. Legitimately, he's like the clone of Prates. He loses early, starts slow, but as soon as he gets his rhythm, he can bitty bop anybody in. He's going against a guy where he's going to potentially have to survive early because back-to-back wins under, 60 seconds in the first round getting by knockouts. And I do think he's the well-rounded Oliveira at dog money for me. Yes, sir, Millz, we got all three on Oliveira, but yeah, I think he can potentially land on the chin. Barris, he does slow down after round one. And I think maybe round two, round three, we might see Oliveira get the combinations going and look to get a knockout.
Yeah, when he fought on PFL Lyon, he showed me that he did look like mini Carlos Prates. That's why I started laughing. I had that written down the same exact thing. He snapped Ibrahimov's undefeated record. This is a clear striker versus striker matchup. And I talked about this shit in the Malcolm Wellmaker Diaz fight, and I went against my word. Striker versus striker matchup, you should bet the dog usually. And this dude's pure entertainment. I think the value is clearly on the underdog here. While he doesn't have the shiny undefeated record, I feel like the dude Boris Jujizel or whatever his name is, the PFL champ, even though he's a PFL champion, it still feels like he's untested. I feel like these two boys are going to bite down on the mouthpiece and swing. And if that's the case, give me Gustavo Oliveira. I think he's going to win that type of fight. But the biggest line movement of an on a fight so far this week has been Marceli Alves and Inoue. Let me make sure I'm Inoue. This line's completely flipped, and I kind of agree with the market here. I think the value is on the rising fighter. Alves had a crazy 2025 run, beating Leandro Higo. Then he beat Jake Hadley. Then he won the belt against Justin Wetzel. But in reality, I still think those fighters are still a little bit of a grade below Inoue. And the question mark remains: can Alves stop the takedowns? It felt like some of the cardio concerns were cleaned up, but I still have questions. What remains in the later rounds if he gets pushed in this fight? I like Inoue here at the. I think this line is right. I think that they flipped it correctly. How do you feel about the underdog picks? And is there anyone that you're looking at?
Yeah, I actually do like the rising fighter here also. I know Alves, he won the most recent tournament for PFL, where 2 out of the 3 fights he was actually an underdog and won until his last fight where he was the favorite. And I think Inoue is live here. He's an okay striker. So I think he can maybe stay when it comes to range where he pumps his jab. But he's, I think, definitely looking to get it to the ground. He's the way better, superior grappler here. Trading out of, I believe, Sarah Longo in New York, I want to say. So,
Yeah,
he's getting those good looks. He's getting those good looks. Like, hey, get that body lock. I know you're going to be a tad bigger, so you might have to lower your level a little bit if you can't get the body lock going. So, and honestly, it might take one takedown. I think Alves can stuff early takedowns, but I think the later the fight can go, it could potentially favor Inoue here. And I know he has 5 decision losses, but I think if he does get the back, he might be able to submit Alves here in round 2, round 3.
Yeah, I like the dog here, man. I mean, I wish I would have hopped up on it when we did the show on Tuesday. Just had a bunch of other shit going on. Somebody asked me in like a text message on Instagram if we're doing PFL Mania. I said, that's on Sunday. That's when the French Open starts, baby. We ain't doing no PFL Mania. We're gonna make some money here with PFL Brussels, and we're gonna move into the parlay parachute here. And this is contingency. Make sure you guys, if you guys haven't already, make sure you become a silver and gold member. Sign up in the Discord. We'll have the official picks in there and all that. Shouts to Swiggy as well for the sponsor, Southtown 101. We love Pete and Salty Harbor Acres, but Southtown 101, home and born raised, baby. Let's go. Joey, parlay parachute time. I have a potential base. I don't know how you feel about the base.
I know you're more of a chalky base, so let's hear your idea and then we can go from there.
Yeah, so the base is to have a core of guys that you could swoop and swap and add into some parlays. Now, when you hear the number, you're like, oh my god! But it's not like that. You add it in, cross sport it. It's a Saturday. There's gonna be a bunch of sports going on, and then we add in the other legs. So I like Dengai Abina, Azul. If you remember me And Joey, I was saying this story on Tuesday. We watched him fight in Atlantic City. I'm high on that guy. I think he wins this one inside the distance. Tagana, doing the main event as well. Patrick Habirora. So basically, like all the big chalky favorites, it was a 203. It was a 203 base. Now, while that sounds crazy, it still leaves out some guys that I'm still confident in, but I think there's other better pieces. One of those guys is do you really trust Taylor Lapilus at minus 750? Let me hear it. Like, what do you feel about the base, and what do you want to add to the parlays?
Like, I don't mind it. Aaron even said don't trust Doje. I think I pronounced his name right, but the way I looked at that fight, I think he's better everywhere personally, outside of grappling. This dude's from road to UFC, didn't pan out, and this could be like me watching the Modescus and Edwards fight thing. Bro, you tagged him. Hit that mother. You got him. And then he just, nope, I'm going to stick to the jab, circle, jab. And then I'm like, dude, you had the knockout. Well, guess what? I won by decision. But I think he still wins that fight. Hot take. I think Lapilus might be able to finish Hadley late. Because Hadley does slow down. And Lapilus, he just got a third round finish in his last fight. And he's showing more aggression now. He's not facing these higher caliber UFC guys. He's fighting these lower tier guys who were either didn't pan out in the UFC or was a decent guy at their own organization. So I think Lapilus, maybe round 3 or decision, could be a very good line for Hadley.
I think that line's a little expensive. Like, I don't mind parlaying it because this is one of those type of cards where like you're gonna probably have to do 5-7 leg parlays. But I don't know, man. Something about that line looks sticker shock. I mean, Swig has it on the screen right here, bro. Taylor Lapilus at minus 1,000, bro. Come on, dude. I know he's gonna win the fight against Jake Hadley, but that is a wild ass price tag. I know Azul is a little bit untrustworthy, but at least I think he wins inside distance. I don't know how this Jake Hadley Taylor Lapilus shit goes. I feel like it's just Jake Hadley not being able to get the takedowns. He probably just gets out jabbed to a decision. I mean, minus 1,000 on the decisions just seems wild to me. I'm glad that you were talking about inside the distance and selling me a little bit here. But he's going to have to go in the parlay. There's just not a lot of options this week, bro. He's got to go in the fucking parlay, dude. I just feel like if I had to order it, I feel like he should be on the second line.
Yeah, I'm not going to feel like trying to stomach a minus 900. And it had keeping this fight closed in the first 7.5. And I'm like, come on, dude, you're almost 1,000. Why don't you just show the fuck up and just get this fight the hell over with? But yeah, I do like Lapilus to win. Let me see. Aaron says, do I have a bet on Hadley? I sure hope not, bro.
Bro, that line is wrong, bro.
It's wrong.
Plus 600 on Jake Hadley against minus 900 Taylor Lapilus. I don't think the talent level caps that, bro. Minus 1,000 is a higher line than like Banks or Sakai fighting Dorjan Santos a couple weeks ago. Like, bro, that is wild. Minus 1,000. We're creeping up to that range. But shouts to Tristan in the chat. He said he's got Paramiza Habirora Lapilus is minus 700 on Bet Online and Bina for minus 143. I think the chalk is good on this card. If like PFL, this feels like a showcase card where they're just trying to showcase a couple of fights and move up the needle and stuff like that. And I think they can get some highlight reel knockouts. But I would say the two guys that we might add into this base that I feel like we agree on is Taylor Lapilus and Rustavan Sabia. What's the dog that we're gonna go with? I mean, I feel like we both went with Oliveira, right?
Yeah, I'm like I said, I hope I'm gonna keep saying this the whole show. Give me props. Because I remember
what props would you look at here if you?
Because I'm not gonna lie, I think Oliveira can win by knockout. I think he could tire out old dude. Like I said, round 2, round 3. I think you really look in that range. I like Lapilus round 3 or decision, but I don't really get that bet. I might just bring the round 3. If I know most other books, you can get round 3 decision, so you can probably get it at a decent line. Oliveira is a public dog. I don't blame him. Usually I stay away from public dogs, but this is the public dog I can really get behind. And then the other public dog I like is Abayev. I think if he keeps it on the feet versus Luka here, I think he can chin him. The better shot.